John, welcome to another edition of the CEO's Blog. Thanks for joining us. You've had a busy weekend. You've been out at Bathurst, and there was the two-day Harness Racing New South Wales Clubs and Associations Conference on Friday and Saturday.
Yes, went very well too, Amanda. This conference was mainly directed at the clubs to bring them up to speed on what's required with corporate governance, minimum standards on tracks, and where we are with the marketing that we're going to roll out in the next few months.
Yes, did you receive some good feedback following the conference?
I think the feedback was very positive. Naturally, there were plenty of questions. The questions were both in the conference and outside the conference. But what was really good about it, we were able to draw all these people together, and there was representatives from just about every club. So whilst the conferences were on during the day, at night the clubs could network and get together. And one very important gathering was the Small Clubs Association, non-tabs they're called, but every club is a tab club now. But they had their biggest turnout, so I'm told, that they've ever had, and they moved things forward amongst themselves. So it was good that they just got together at least once a year to promote what they need to do in this industry, because they are vital. Doesn't matter whether it's a big club or a small club, every club means something to Harness Racing New South Wales, and we like getting together with them and hearing what they have to say.
Now, we had the Harnessing Our Future conference last year, and this conference just this last weekend. Is this an annual event?
Now, this one is a biannual event, and the other conference, the Harnessing the Future conference, whilst it might not have that name next year, that will be the conference where we invite participation from other states and welcome anybody that wants to come. It'll be a different thing. This was more about the nitty-gritty, the things clubs need to do, need to know, insurances, etc., protect themselves, of course, and to help participants. In association, of course, with it was the track seminar where track curators from around the state got together, swapped ideas, learned ideas about how they need to do things. But that was very well received. But of course, it's difficult. We have different surfaces, different size tracks, different machinery, of course, on these places, and different sort of climates. So it was very well received also.
Yeah, it's amazing the effort that does go behind into preparing our tracks, isn't it?
Well, the tracks are the core business. If we don't have tracks for training and we don't have tracks for racing, we don't really have anything. Of course, every component of harness racing moulds in together. It's all interlocked, and we've got breeding, owning, track preparation and administrators to make it all work, and it's great that we've got a cohesive group.
Okay, well, let's talk about the bi-monthly clubs committee met today at Penrith. Anything come out of that meeting?
Everything comes out of that meeting. It's generally a meeting where I go along and the clubs give me a good belting. Sometimes I throw one or two back, but no, they are good meetings. What came out of it today was we had iCare there. iCare is the new provider of workers' compensation, and they spoke to the clubs. And it's important because whilst we have workers' compensation for our actually employees, the drivers are covered under workers' compensation, and we're trying to get a smoother operation for them so that when they do have a fall, everybody knows what to do. And one of our primary aims with this new organisation, this government organisation, iCare, is that we have a go-to person in that organisation, because it's quite difficult sometimes, because the drivers are, whilst they're under workers' compensation with the clubs, they aren't employees, so there's a fair bit of paperwork that has to be gathered up. So that was a real positive. Another positive that came, or a delivery that came out of the HRCC meeting, was the Carnival Cups for next year, and that is in play, but some clubs haven't submitted their forms from last year, their returns from last year. They will be held up. They've had plenty of time to do that. And also clubs will need to provide information during the month of August to Harness Racing New South Wales, so that we've got a very transparent program of events that participants can enjoy in the next few months.
Okay, well, let's talk about feature racing. On Sunday at Bathurst, we had the Group 3 Alabar Breeders' Challenge Regional Finals, produced some really good results.
Great results. It was a great spread. All sorts of winners, and when I say that, breeds, different breeds of horses, different trainers and different owners. And I must say, whilst we need to hold these meetings at that time of the year, and it was cold, holding it at Bathurst worked perfectly because, as I said, that spread of winners came from all over the state. And what I found from it, and my board members that were there also, Chairman Chris Edwards and Peter Nugent and the others, was the fact that it was a very buoyant crowd. You often go to a meeting and there's a little complaint here and a little complaint here. Whilst there were certainly plenty of points that we needed to take on board, and we always review the Breeders' Challenge race series after the end of them the whole year, it was really a feel-good crowd and an enjoyable crowd. And to all those winners, well done, and now on to next year.
All right, well, on a sadder note in the breeding world, we received the news that Courage Under Fire passed away this week. Yeah,
and that was devastating. It was devastating for Rob Woodhouse and Yerriby Stud and Roger and Di, of course. But it was also a real blow to breeding here in New South Wales. A champion stallion, certainly a champion sire, a fantastic racehorse. He was being very well patronised in this season, but now we've lost him. So we'll work, if we can, with Yerriby to see whether we can find a replacement. I know Alan Galloway. I've spoken to Alan Galloway from Alabar, and he was devastated also by it and by the occurrence, and hopefully we can come up with something to either get another stallion in or find a remedy that best suits both Yerriby and the New South Wales breeding industry.
Okay, John. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about for this week?
Only, isn't it great to be back at Tabcorp Park Menangle? We might shoot the program or the Trots TV, the CEO's blog, out of here because we've got some business to do over the next couple of weeks. It's such a beautiful place to be and such a great environment. So that'll be it until next week, Amanda.
All right, we'll catch up then. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Amanda.